So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. We're lucky to have Dr. Mary Carol Pomatto on the call tonight, and she oversees the Military Science Department, as well as many different departments under her umbrella of Arts and Sciences. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Pomatto, and then we'll move on to Lieutenant Colonel Costello.
Thank you, John. Greetings from the College of Arts and Sciences and Pittsburg State University. This is an impressive gathering, and boy, when you can even bring in people from abroad, that is really something to behold. So happy that so many were able to join us this evening. Our military science program is a strong it's a strong program, and it's a source of pride for us at the university. Our program, I think at any given time, has approximately 75 to 80 students in it. Lieutenant Colonel Costello is a superb leader. He is wonderful to work with, and so are the faculty in military science. Very, very strong program, and they know the students. I think you all can probably attest to that from your programs, but they know every student. They know their strengths, they know their challenges, and they work very, very closely with them to build the kinds of leaders and the responsibility, accountability, and character that is necessary for their future. So we're very appreciative and thank our faculty. Our program has a partnership with the university that extends, gosh, I should have looked up exactly when this program began, but it's many, many years ago. And it has not missed a beat. It has continued to be a very strong program. Our community, both on campus as well as our broader community, supports our program, and they get behind it. And we just want to thank you for your support as well. So thanks to all. I'm not going to be able to join you for the entire meeting, but I at least wanted to say hello. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Pomatto. We appreciate your leadership.
Bye-bye.
So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Lieutenant Colonel Chuck Costello, who is the main course this evening. And Lieutenant Colonel, you had a lot of your folks online tonight, and when it's appropriate, I'll let you introduce them as well.
Yeah, so that's where I kind of want to just first say thank you, John, and the Alumni Relations for putting this together. This is an exciting event for me. Alumni engagement is one of my priorities going into my third and fourth year, trying to get alumni back on campus where they belong, to support cadets and pass on their knowledge. So again, thank you for doing that. And also, thanks for to Dr. Pomatto and Mary Jo. Their support here is, they keep me out of trouble, I guess is a good way to put it. Because Army language and university language can be different. So I've had to navigate the waters very carefully, and their leadership and their friendship really has brought me a long way with this program. And finally, just the leadership in general, Dr. Scott and Dr. Smith, the whole university leadership here. We are a very, very lucky program to have the support and relationship of not only the university, but the community, and also the Kansas Army National Guard, which they're right in my building. So that triad of support is unparalleled that I've seen in every program. Other PMS that I talked to is like, you have what downstairs? And I was like, yes, I have an armory downstairs that I have access to. So again, I want to say a special thanks to everybody for bringing on here. Then I'm going to open up to my cadre to kind of introduce themselves. I'll let my cadet battalion commander kind of introduce herself, and then I'll end with myself, giving a little introduction of where I come from. And then we'll kind of go into some updates for the program. And then I'll open it up to any questions. I got several questions on that registration that I'll answer throughout the brief, I hope. So if there's anything else that I leave out, or you have any other questions questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I'm an open book. I'm transparent. I'll tell you how it is, or if I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know, and I'll go find out. So with that, Sergeant Johnson, I'll go ahead and start with you, and we'll kind of work our way up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Staff Sergeant Johnson. I'm from South Carolina. I have 8 years of military service. I currently serve as a military science instructor for the freshman class, and I just enjoy having the opportunity to train, lead, and develop the future leaders of the Army.
All right, go, Lieutenant Wiebe, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lieutenant TJ Wiebe, alumni of the program from 2017. I see some fellow classmates on here. It's good to see you guys. Currently in APMS, Assistant Professor of Military Science, also the Kansas Army National Guard liaison between the two organizations. I love being back in the jungle, and it's good to work with the future leaders of all three components and to give back to a program that's given so much to me.
Captain Leon.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Captain Leon here. So I've been in the military a good 18 years now, jumped around a lot. Originally, I'm from the Bronx, New York City. So Pittsburg, Kansas is quite a change for me. But I must say, I definitely fell in love with this city here. I'm glad just to be here. Really, I don't want to leave, but in the next year, I will be going out of here. But it's been great so far. Looking forward for next year.
All right, Josh, don't mess it up.
It's hard to after Leon. So I'm Josh Shay. I'm a 2004 graduate of this program. I commissioned active duty and came back here. I was at Fort Riley till about 2009. I came back here to Pittsburg State and was working in the department till 2011. I decided to take a different route. I work for the university. I'm in the Kansas Army National Guard now, and I worked for the university for 2 years and then came back. I missed this place. The ROTC department and these young future leaders, and finding these young future leaders to come and join this program, this great, historically amazing program. And for me now, I recruit these young people full time. It's really easy, having gone through it and having been a part of this university, to share my passion for this place and for this program that was built by you all prior to them. That makes it easy for me to show them what we've accomplished in our past, and the type of young people and the type of people that make it to their retirements. It really helps me. So I appreciate what you all have done prior to them and how you continually stay with the program and stay updated in these ways. And I highly encourage you to come back and share your stories with our cadets. Because that, again, helps me and makes my job a lot easier. So I appreciate you all being on and look forward to hearing stories and questions.
All right, and now let me shift my camera over. There you go.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cadet Casey. I am the Cadet Battalion Commander this semester. I'm a senior here at Pitt State. I was born in Pittsburgh, raised in Frontenac, so I've been here my whole life. My degree is going to be in political science, and I will be branching into the Kansas Army National Guard as a military intelligence officer. I've really enjoyed getting to be a part of this program. I've learned a ton of leadership skills and gotten to do a lot of cool experiences throughout this program. So thank you, guys.
All right, and last but not least, moi. Okay. Geez, I've been in the Army for going a little over 23 years now. I was a green and gold applicant and went through Virginia Tech, commissioned out of Virginia Tech Corps Cadets in 2001 as a armor officer, and then I transferred over to logistics as part of that branch detail program, and I've been doing that ever since. This job is I don't call it a job. It's more of a privilege in my eyes, because you're coming full circle here. You're training and developing the future leaders of tomorrow. And there's no other better job out there, in my opinion. I found out I got this position. I was sitting in Hohenfels, Germany, out in the field, and then as an OCT out there at the Joint Multinational Training Center, the Readiness Center, and they said, "Hey, you're going to Pittsburgh," and I thought to myself, I was like, cool, Pittsburg, Pennsylvania. I was like, can't wait to go. And then they said, no, Kansas. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, where's that? Like, I had no idea where this place was. So I literally flew my wife from Germany down here to find a house, went into this thing blind. I had no idea what to expect. And I tell you what, this place is phenomenal. And I love every second of it. So I'm going on my 3rd year here now. I got 1 more year to go. And I'll probably be dropping my retirement and heading out. The family is giving me my marching orders. Household 6 has said I'm done moving. So I saluted the flagpole, and that's where I'm going. Okay. So again, I love this place. I'm sure Dean Ray online. I don't know if Colonel Boatwright is on, but they're probably pissed off that I took the 4th year because they were hoping to get this job. Sorry, maybe next time. But anyway, I just want to make sure that you all know my passion. You know, the privilege I get to teach these seniors and all the cadets really, and molding them into what I hope will be the next great generation of officers that this Pittsburg State program has been producing since 1952 when it's first started. So amazing. So with that, I'll kind of leave it. If there's any questions from the group about the cadre, I'll pause for about 30 seconds and see if there's anything. And if not, I'll go ahead and go into my little update, and then we'll go from there.
And everybody is muted, so you would need to unmute to ask a question.
Hey, Chuck, it's Dean. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic, Dean. How are you?
Hey, it's awesome to see you, and I thank you guys for putting this on. I was just thinking about something like this as far as outreach and getting tied back into the program. So I think this is great. But I do have a question from a cadre standpoint, and maybe you'll give it during the update. But I know you guys are doing. You got yourself down into Wichita State. Do you have cadre that's down there now that's working there full time, or how are you guys working that?
Yeah, it's manned completely by the Kansas Army National Guard. So I run the program. I oversee the program. They work for me, but it's not through Cadet Command. It's through the Kansas Army National Guard. But I'll go into a little bit more about what Wichita State brings to the table in terms of the program in the brief as well.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Any other questions?
I have a question. Yes. Are you having difficulty getting students of today to enroll in the program?
Honestly, sir, the fall semester was a little scary for us, to be honest. It was pretty small. It's about half. We had 15 enrolled in our freshman class, which we normally have. We average between, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, about say 25 to 35. We fluctuate in that area. So COVID played a huge impact in enrollment. But from what I'm seeing now, it's looking pretty promising for the fall 2020-21 semester coming up. So no, I think those who have a propensity to serve, they enroll and they want to serve. So I really haven't seen, other than COVID impacts, a huge impact with the students of today.
I have another question. What has been the impact back, 100 years ago when I was there? We only had 25, but first 2 years were required of all students. So we had, really large, we had 2 drill days because we had such size, but it's no longer required. So what's happened with your first 2 years now that it's not required? As I understand, it's not required anymore.
Yeah, that's correct. It's not required, but the first 2 years of the program, the Military Science 100 and 200 level, is open to anybody in the student body. Anybody can enroll in it. They don't have to be contracted. They could have curly hair. They can have long flowing hair. They can have a beard. My only thing is if they're going in a uniform like we're in, they got to shave and look the part. But anybody can enroll in the program. It's when you hit the Military Science 300 level, the junior level, where if you don't contract, you can't be in military science.
Yeah, well, that was true then, but the first 2 years gave us, a huge number of students, probably 50% of whom did not want to be there, which is interesting. But I'm just wondering what kind of numbers you have in those first 2 year programs.
Well, like I said, we normally average between 25 and 35 in the class.
Because
And then, of course, that naturally attrits over time. We probably lose 30% or so after the first year. Those who are trying it out and says, you know what, this isn't for me, which is perfectly fine. I encourage that. At least they tried it out. Maybe they get some leadership lessons from it, so we can have an impact. But for the most part, if you find a cadet that's in the freshman class in the fall semester, they move on to the spring, pretty good chance they're going to enroll in the MS2 class. So usually it's about 25 to 35, and then you're probably looking at about 20 to 25 in the sophomore class.
yeah, I changed it because as I recall, we had several hundred in each of the 2 drill days. It was,
No, we don't have that many, Josh.
it was interesting.
It is. Okay, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Do I still have that function?
Yes, you should.
All right. Let's see here. All right, can everybody see that? The gorilla? Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on. So agenda is kind of what we're going to talk about. Battalion personnel. So this kind of gets after that Wichita State question about manning. So here, the host program, Pittsburg State is the host. Wichita State is the extension unit of me. Why is that important? It's important because the commissions that come out of Wichita State count for Pittsburg State. So I have a mission like any other recruiter, like any other recruiting organization. I have a specific mission that I'm supposed to meet. If I don't meet that mission, it's not like they're going to close you down, but you start getting letters, okay? And they're like, hey, you're not producing, you're not producing. So this helps solidify the Pittsburg State program for the foreseeable future, okay? We were doing fine on our own. We're averaging, I think one of the question was, hey, what have you been averaging in the program? And we've averaged 14.5 commissions from 2015 to 2020. The viability line is 15. So we're kind of right on that cusp, all right? So that's important. So Wichita has given us that stability, that continuation, that nothing like us closing us down as a host or anything like that. Nothing like that was talked about, but this helps ensure that. So we have a pretty full staff, as you can see. We got a Master Sergeant inbound next month, so I cannot wait to get him on board. That Master Sergeant brings a wealth of knowledge from an infantry, just a leadership and infantry perspective to help get cadets ready. And then you can move over to Wichita State. A lot of folks there, a lot of transition, but we're working through that with the National Guard. And again, all these folks are National Guard. They're not active duty. They're not through Cadet Command. They are provided and manned, and National Guard floats the bill for that program. Any questions on this? All right. All right, so mission. So this is kind of where we stand. Right now, we're looking at, we're going to have a projection of 20, probably 19 this year. As you can see, the current enrollment class, we have 138 cadets within the program. That makes us the 3rd biggest program in our brigade. And our brigade spans from, spans into the Dakotas, Iowa, Nebraska, all the way over to Minnesota, in Chicago, Illinois area. So it's a huge, in Missouri, it's a huge swath of land. So we have 80 current cadets in PSU, and we have 58 cadets at Wichita State currently. The next set of names, that is who's commissioning. The ones in black font, they are commissioning this spring here at the Veterans Memorial. Those are PSU commissionees. And then the 2 in red, the Cadet Schrag and Cadet Garcia, those are our first 2 Wichita State commissions that we will be doing this May. Cadet Ambrose, he was a layover from last year. He's actually going to get commissioned here this month, in a couple weeks. And then Contreras, 2nd Lieutenant now, Contreras, he commissioned in December, which counts in this mission set. So as you can see, even without Wichita State, we're still doing pretty darn good. But with Wichita State, you can see in the future classes, 21, 22 and onwards, we're going to average at least over 20. So anywhere from 25 to 30 commissions out of the program between the two programs that we see right now. So that's huge for us, and that's huge for you as the alumni to know that this program is not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and that was my job, and you know, I think I accomplished it. Any questions on this? Okay. So kind of recent news. All right, we added Wichita State as an extension unit. That started up in April of 2019, so a pretty brand new program. We are part of Task Force Leavenworth again. I'm not sure how they were task organized in the past. I know we used to be a part of Task Force Leonard Wood, which is some Missouri schools, but now we're under Kansas, so we're competing with KU and K-State, which is a good thing because we always like to beat them. And then, yeah, Ranger Challenge is back at Camp Dodge, which is a good thing. That was the first time we went back up there. We performed well. We came in 8th out of 11, but we did beat KU. So that's a good thing. K-State was only 2 points behind us, so we're going to get them next time. Cadet Command, we're shifting focus in terms of resources to the Southwest region. So the underrepresented areas of the Houston, Los Angeles, San Francisco area. So Wichita State was, I mean, bottom line, that was the last growth that Major General Evans was going to allow in the Midwest. There are no more extension units. There are no more crosstowns. They're actually shutting down a number of crosstowns and extension units across 3rd Brigade's footprint so we can focus resourcing onto those underrepresented areas that Cadet Command wants to see growth into. All right. The new PT test, I don't know if you've heard about it or not. I know like Dean and some of the folks that are active duty right now or in the Guard or Reserves. We have a new Army Combat Fitness Test, ACFT. It's no longer the 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, 2 mile run. It is now a 6-event test, which I'm excited about. I think it's gives you a more complete picture of your physical fitness. It's not as hard to pass, but it is a lot harder to max that physical test. And it's a deadlift. It is a standing power ball throw. Then it's followed by hand release push-ups, which is different from the normal push-ups where you have to actually put yourself on the ground and put your arms out. So it's supposedly about 20% more difficult to do a push-up, more force required for that, which is true because I did it and I normally max push-ups and I was at 45 and I thought I was going to die. So it works. And then the hand release push-up, then the sprint drag carry, which is a 25-meter back and forth, kind of like a shuttle run, except for you're dragging 90 pounds of weight backwards, you're carrying kettlebells, doing side straddles and sprinting. So it's a lot different. And then you do a leg tuck, and you hang on the bar, and you bring your knees up to your elbows, and then you do a 2 mile run at the end of that. So pretty exciting stuff. And we've done it quite a few times here, and our cadets actually perform quite well on it. New marksmanship tables have come out. So it's no longer the standard 40 rounds in a prone supported and prone unsupported position. It is now a sequence of 6 tables that culminate in still a 40 round qualification, but it's a combination of prone, unsupported, or I'm sorry, standing up, kneeling, then you shift down to the ground, then you go to prone, unsupported, then you shift up to the kneeling, and you shift up to standing. And throughout all those different positions, you have a malfunction within your weapon that you have to do sports with to try to clear the weapon, which we've never done before. And we actually did our first one last weekend, and it was challenging. Cadets are going to find this very challenging. I think active duty units are going to find this very challenging as we go forward with it. So that's kind of some of the recent news, big picture for the Army, just so you have some sort of context of where we're going as an Army in Cadet Command. Coming up events, so last semester, of course, COVID smacked us in the face last spring, and really put a clamp down on everything. We were fully virtual, I think, by March, if I remember correctly. So it was different, and we struggled. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It was difficult to try to keep students engaged, cadets engaged. It was difficult to teach tactics on Zoom. You got to go out there and you just have to physically do it out there in the woods, right? But we made it through it, and I think it made us stronger in the outcome. It gives us more tools like this form right here. I've never used this form until COVID hit, but thankfully, with the leadership of the university and the responsibility of the students and the cadets, they really came through. We had a couple scares in the fall, but we were still able to do our fall FTX. We took a lot of cadets out there to Camp Crowder, and we executed it with COVID mitigations in place. And we were lucky we didn't have any cases that came out of it, and we were still able to get the training done. The only bad thing about the fall, of course, is the sports season got canceled. So our participation in community events has been severely, it's been non-existent, and along with university events, just because of the environment that we were in. So we made it through. Fall wasn't too bad. Moving on to the spring, as I said, we went back to face-to-face. We've been face-to-face classes all spring. Really hasn't been that bad. I don't think we've had any cases here in the cadet battalion. So it's actually been kind of surprising, to be honest with you. So we went to Ranger Challenge. Now, like I said, we placed 8th out of 11. We did our Super Lab last weekend, where Camp Cadet Summer Training bound cadets, excuse me, conducted land navigation in the new marksmanship table. So they got a lot of good reps in that category. We have Ranger Buddy coming up in April in KU. We're going to send 3 or 4 teams to that. And then we have our spring FTX with K-State, Mo West, in University of Central Missouri out at Fort Riley this coming up mid-April to go over squad tactics and get these cadets ready to go to cadet summer training. If you didn't know, and I'm sorry to back up a little bit, but cadet summer training, the old advanced camp or whatever you want to call it, it is all moved to Fort Knox, Kentucky. So when I went through, it was at, I went through at Fort Lewis, Washington, and I think they had at Bragg and maybe one other place, but now it's all consolidated at one training event at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And that's where every cadet goes in the nation. Our Gorilla Dash is the 24 April, this coming up. This is a 5K mutter that we host and put on to raise money for the Sergeant First Class Robertson Memorial Scholarship. So Sergeant First Class Robertson was a cadre member here at Pitt State, and he was killed in an accident in Afghanistan. So his Gold Star family decided in his honor to put together a scholarship in his memory. So this Gorilla Dash helps raise funds to put back into that scholarship, so we can award $500 or $1,000 to cadets who are deserving of that scholarship. And that's, again, 24 April. And if you are interested, I'm going to try to run through it. I did it last year. I was a little slow, but I still made it through. It's the registration's online. I'm sure, Wiebe, what was that website? It was, I think it's gorilla-.com or something like that. But if you're interested, let me know, and I can get you that information. We are planning to have our dining in. We're not making it a dining out because of numbers, so we're not going to have cadets bring guests. So that's sort of where we're going for the COVID mitigations, where we will hand out scholarships and awards to the cadets who are deserving of that. And then commissioning this year is in person, right here at this beautiful memorial that I have on campus, and that's 7 May at 1000 hours, where those folks that I've listed before will commission into the active component in the National Guard, most of which National Guard, as you saw on there. I think I have 4 going active duty in the spring. Okay, I'll pause there for any questions. I know I've blabbed on for a little bit.
Anybody have any questions? There was a question that came through on the chat. Is LDAC still at JBLM?
No, that's what I was talking about before. LDAP was the old, it's now called Cadet Summer Training, and it is now at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Everything is at Fort Knox, Kentucky for Cadet Summer Training.
All right.
Yeah, I have a question. Did I understand you to say that the newly commissioned officers go into the National Guard now, or do they actually go on to active duty somewhere?
No, they have a, depending upon what scholarship they have, and they can go active duty, reserve, or National Guard. I have, in this class, I have 4 going active duty and the rest going National Guard.
So that's a choice the students can make now?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
It is.
Is that because the Army no longer needs as many officers as they once did?
Well, a lot of it has to do on, like, if a cadet receives a scholarship, right, and it's a Minuteman scholarship, for example. If a cadet chooses a guaranteed reserve forces duty scholarship or a Minuteman scholarship, all that means is that the cadet is locked into going to either the reserves or National Guard. That's something that cadet chooses to take. If a cadet has just a normal scholarship, the cadet can choose, hey, I want to go active duty, reserve, I want to go reserve, active duty, National Guard. He kind of racks and stacks them. And based on my recommendation, based on what numbers that the Army needs, because right now the Army's capped at like 429,000. So there's only so many active duty officer slots that you can assess into active duty every year. If you go over that mark, they get pushed into the National Guard or Reserves.
Are those National Guard and Reserve positions full-time or just part-time?
Part-time, so 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out of the year.
Right, so it's a little hard for one me, like an old guy, to understand why you would go through the program just to go in the National Guard or the Reserves, which you could do anyway.
Mm-hmm. You could, but you have to, in order to receive your commission, you still have to go through some sort of commissioning source.
Sir, can I comment on that?
Sure.
So a benefit, a real development in the last couple, say 5 years for the Compo 2 and Compo 3 Reserve and the Guard has been an appealing process. We've seen a tick and a trend upward in cadets who are pursuing a STEM major, so a science, engineering, technology, mathematics, or engineering, as well as like Pitt State's really known for its construction department. So just in the class before me in 2016, there was a graduate who was offered 6 figures as a college graduate with his certain degree. Therefore, in his perspective, it made more sense for him to go into the National Guard or Reserves in order to pursue that civilian career. And we're seeing a lot of cadets who want to have the best of both worlds, still serve, and then pursue their civilian career or try to utilize their degree.
It's just so much different. You know, I'm a 1963 graduate. There wasn't any choices there. When you you went on active duty, period.
The Army's is shrunk a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
All right, let me continue on so I don't bore everybody before you guys get to the question and answers. So next slide, I'm just going to give you a rundown of next school year. So these are key events coming up in 2021, starting in the fall. Some key ones for the alumni really is the athletic games that are on there. And the one for that I would like to highlight is the alumni banquet on the 5th of November. I tried to do it last year, and of course, COVID nipped that in the bud. I did it the year before, and this is kind of my fault. I didn't advertise it quick enough, I don't think. So I didn't get enough. I didn't get a lot of participation from the alumni. I had a few folks show up, which I'm very grateful that they did. But I'm hopeful to get alumni back on campus. And the way I've kind of organized it is I've pretty much invited this year coming up, everybody who is in a 250-mile radius of Pitt, and then whoever commissioned or graduated in the year, in the current year ending in whatever. So everybody who commissioned in every year ending in a 1 would also get an invite. So 61, 71, 81, 91, 2001, all the way up. They would also get an invite as well to the alumni banquet. Then every year we'll get a new mix of alumni to come in instead of inviting everybody, which I just don't think we can handle numbers wise, depending on how many people actually came. And that's where I would give another program update. It allow a chance for alumni to talk with one another, reconnect with the cadets. So I'll have cadets there as well to kind of sit at each table so you can talk to those cadets and find out what's going on. So I would like to highlight that. And the goal is to have you all there on Friday night, and then you go to the game, the military appreciation game, Saturday. So that's kind of how I'm framing it for the alumni. And then of course, commissioning, we'll have, right now it's looking like we'll have 3 commissionees in December. And that'll be done over the Bicknell Center. And then, yeah, that's really kind of the main focus for this slide for alumni. And then you can, if you have any questions afterwards about the specific events, I'd be more than happy to answer those. For the spring, again, we have spring turns into a lot of competition, a lot of getting cadets ready to go. We do have a staff ride that I take the seniors to in April. And that's part of my slides as well, trying to increase that a little bit and that experience. And then the military ball dining out will be on the 7th of May, and then commissioning next spring will be the 13th of May. Any questions about the upcoming calendar of events? And again, this doesn't include community events that we haven't scheduled yet on the calendar, but those will also go on there as well. All right.
Hey, Chuck, this is Dean again.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, where are you taking those guys where are you taking the cadets for staff ride?
This year we're going to the Battle of Pea Ridge down in Arkansas. It's about an hour and a half away. But I'm looking to try to get them a little bit further out. But of course that takes support to do that.
Yeah.
You know, but last year, I think the year before, we went up to the Truman Library and did that battle decision center where you put all the cadets in a. I think we did the dropping the bomb in World War II, and they played the role of president and Secretary of Defense, and they kind of ran through all the material and they made their own decisions on what they would do. So I'm trying to switch it up a little bit. I've never been down to Pea Ridge, so I'm kind of excited to go down there. All right. So these next couple slides are kind of like ideas that I'm popping around in my head on trying to get enlightened to enhance the experience of the cadets. A lot of you are like, well, why do we need to do this? Well, the contracting jackets, K-State, they have a really cool one that alumni provide funds for, that they provide a lightweight kind of pullover jacket that has their logo and everything that the cadets wear around campus. So not only does it serve as a tangible reward for contracting with Pitt State if you meet the requirements or you have the attributes we're looking for, but it also helps recruit on campus and off campus as well. So that's kind of like where we're going with that. The branch reveal, I just started doing branch reveal dinners with the cadets. I'm looking at trying to put together a simple wooden plaque that has kind of their name, their commissioning year, and their branch that I can surprise them with once they learn their branches, once they get assessed, because it's a surprise to them for the most part. So that's kind of what I'm looking at doing. And then Ranger Challenge, just based on that competition, you kind of need those specialized boots, T-shirts and sweatshirts that we're trying to create for Ranger Challenge. So it brings a sense of accomplishment, hey, it's kind of, I want to treat it as our varsity sport on campus because it truly is, because it's pretty grueling. I get tired watching them do it. all the time. So that's kind of some of the ideas I'm throwing around for recruiting and retention. And then kind of other events that we haven't done in the past, Army 10 miler. I've had several cadets interested in trying to put together an Army 10 miler team, but of course that's in DC. So it's quite a travel away. So it takes time. I can't use my government vehicles for that because that is not a Cadet Command sanctioned event. So we would have to rent vehicles or plane tickets, something like that. And of course you get meals and, if we can get sponsorships from like AUSA and some other local communities, we'll get t-shirts made with their logo on it to try to help fund this as well. Baton Death March, we did that 2 years ago, it was canceled this year. Again, that's something that the cadets try to fundraise for. I can't use GSA vehicles for that. And that's all the way down in New Mexico. So we try to borrow some vehicles, but in the end, sometimes we have to rent them. And it's not as much as the 10 miler team in terms of cost, but you still have 1 night of room, t-shirts and meals and all those sorts of things. Staff ride, like Dean Ray was talking about. I don't mind going to these places locally, but there's so many other cool battle sites that we could try to go to, like Vicksburg, Shiloh. Gettysburg might be a little too far, but Chattanooga, there's plenty of good Civil War sites that we could go visit for some variety. But I can use GSA vehicles for that. So I wouldn't need rentals in that aspect. And that's kind of like some of those events that we're trying to get after. Now I'll caveat this. I'm not sitting here asking all my alumni to fund all this stuff. The cadets fundraise, but I kind of need some help to try to subsidize these events so we can actually do them. Because again, it takes time from the cadets and it takes money to do it. So these are kind of some of those events that I have, as they say in the Army, the good idea fairy comes out. These are some of those ideas that I have. I'll pause there if anybody has any kind of comments, questions. Oh, shoot. Let me go back. Sorry.
This is Dave White. I got a question for John. Can any of this be, can we donate to the foundation and then move the money over to the ROTC, or has it got to go directly to ROTC?
No, absolutely. People send checks to the Alumni Center all the time. And of course, the foundation, the accountants for the foundation are located in the basement of our building. Mary Jo Meyer, who's on this call as well, can certainly help with those things. But honestly, you could reach out to me, you could reach out to Lieutenant Colonel, and we would be happy to make sure that any donations go exactly where you want them to go.
I'll be happy to help, Dave.
I have a question. Being
Sir.
probably the oldest one watching today. Did the Pershing Rifles and Scabbard and Blade Societies exist anymore? And if they don't, when did they die?
They don't exist here anymore. When they went away, I don't know. I don't know, Josh, would you happen to know the answer to that question?
I don't. That was well prior to me. We do have the original guidons up in the office. And
We do.
At one point tried to kind of track that information down. But I think overall across Cadet Command, there's very little participation, which kind of is the reason being is there's so many new requirements that are put on these cadets today to graduate that didn't exist years ago. Even from when I commissioned in 2004, there's a significant number of things that cadets must do to meet their outcomes metrics list criteria to be able to commission active duty or just get so many points that some of those things are really hard to do. And across the country, there's very few ROTC battalions that still actually take part in some of those things.
Well, I was just curious. I belonged to both of them, and I just wondered when they went away.
We can find that out for you, sir, if you'd like.
It's one of those trivial questions. It's not that important. I'm not going to lose any sleep because I don't know.
Okay.
I thought maybe somebody there might know.
Colonel Costello, a follow-up question to that. Willis Haydenberg, graduate of 1985. I was a member of the first aviation class ROTC in Pittsburg, Kansas. Do they still have an aviation flight class?
We don't have a flight class, but we have cadets that can branch aviation. Is that what you're talking about? Is there a specific like group of cadets that just did flight?
There was a specific class with Lieutenant Colonel James Brandon was the leader of it, and the professor of military science, Chet McCarty, an old Air Force veteran, did the class, and Naomi Winchester was our ground school instructor. So we had a very good class of 7 people, and we all went into ROTC flight requirements and went to Vietnam, where we ended up.
College of Technology actually kind of picked up that, and we're offering that up until I think, oh, Mary Jo, you might be able to, I think maybe like 10 years ago, they just still do have ground school opportunities within the College of Technology, but as faculty have kind of retired, a lot of their capabilities for that program of instruction is kind of left, but there still is some opportunities for different classes to get ground school certified within the College of Technology, but nothing like up until the point 10 years ago where they had a very robust curriculum and a significant number of students, to include some of our ROTC students that would go through it to help them prepare for the SIF test and then on into Army aviation.
All right, good. Thank you.
I have another question. What are the students these days paid if they are in the advanced classes, or what kind of scholarship do they get? It wasn't much back when I was there. Of course, we had a draft too.
Well, let's see. So a contracted cadet, so someone who's non-scholarship and just contracted with the Army, gets a stipend of $420 a month.
Wow.
If you're a scholarship, you get $5,000. Usually it's tuition or fees, tuition and fees paid for directly, or you get room and board scholarship money. The difference here is tuition is so cheap, they always choose the room and board, because the room and board scholarship is $5,000 that goes into their pocket to do whatever they want with it every semester. So they get $5,000 in scholarship every semester and $600 for books a semester. So you put it all together, it's about a little over $6,000 they get a semester if you're a scholarship cadet.
That's quite a difference. I'm just laughing thinking about that. I didn't get any. You just got a little bit. Anyway, I'm talking.
It was $95
no
a month.
books, no, none of that.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Wow. Well, that's great.
That is good.
All right, so just kind of moving on towards the end here. This is just kind of showing you the endowment as it stands right now of the specific accounts that are in here. Altogether, in the endowment, there's about $50,000, a little over that. This does not include the generous donations from General Watts and Kamash here recently that they give out some scholarship money to deserving cadets as well. So that's roughly about $3,000 or so. And then I'm looking to distribute somewhere in the neighborhood of about $4,250, $4.25 out from that subtotal that you see down there at this year's dining in, and that's a multitude of $500 from specific scholarships that have funds available in them. Okay, the two that I have notes in, so the ROTC program alumni, that is where all your contributions go into. So it's a general fund. So if you want to contribute $100 or $25 or whatever, all those contributions go into that account. I'm slowly building it up. It was rather small when I took over, so we haven't really touched it too much. So we're kind of letting it grow slowly but surely. And then the foundation account, that was a one-time PSU matching scholarship that they gave us back in 2006, but it's not replenished. So we've been very diligent, very careful on what we spend that money on. But with those two accounts and everything else, we have 50 grand. So it sounds like a lot, I know, but just for some perspective, if I had one cadet come here and we want to pay for him full ride, it cost me $60,000. So I wouldn't even have enough really to put one cadet through for 4 years here at Pitt State with the current status of the foundation. So that's kind of where I'm reaching out and trying to ask for some help with. And again, like what John was talking about, and Mary Jo can help if there's specific areas that you want your money to go to, whether it's, hey, I don't want to pay for a staff ride. Mary Jo will let me know, and I will make sure that that money is used for that specific expense. And I will be more than happy to provide an itemized receipt back to you to show you exactly where that money went. Because I'm very careful and very cognizant of money and how important that is to everybody, especially in this current environment. But it's important for the cadets so we can continue to give back and allow us to compete with other schools as well. So I'm going to move on to kind of my last slide, and then I'll kind of be quiet for a little while. My priorities. First and foremost for me, it's prevention of sexual assault, harassment, suicide, racism, extremism. I put suicide on there twice because it's that important to me. You know, we got a serious problem in the military in terms of suicide. I think we're on track of exceeding the highest suicide rate in the military for veterans by over 30 or 40% this year. So it's a serious problem. We talk to our cadets, making sure that they get the help that they need, because they're not immune. I'm not immune. None of us are immune to tragedies that happen or environments, because COVID really put a really hamper on these cadets, because they're very socially connected cadets. Just the type of people that they are with social media and interactions. And when COVID hit, it caused a lot of people to go into isolation, and it really hurt them mentally. So we struggled with that. There's quite a few that had issues with that, and it's important that we talk about it. It's important that I get them the help that they need, and it's just the right thing to do. Sexual assault and harassment, it's wrong. All right, it's zero tolerance for any of these things, and especially with the environment that we've been dealing with here recently, it's important that we reemphasize that priority. Recruiting retention is obviously up there for me. If I don't recruit, if I don't retain these cadets, it doesn't mean any good, because Josh can recruit all day long, and if I make a poor environment for them to be a part in, or they don't like it, or they get mistreated, or something happens and they don't stay in the program, it does me no good. And we could lose a lot of good ones if we're not careful. So that's very high on my list. My first 2 years here was about growing the program. This last 2 years is about you all. Alumni engagement and support. I want to get you all involved with the cadets. Right now I have a cadet advisory council that meets twice a week. So I get representatives from each class, MS1 through senior. I'm the president of it. And we talk about issues because I don't have time to go around and talk to every single cadet and find out, hey, how you're doing, what's going on, especially with Wichita State, because I travel to Wichita once or twice a week, and that's an all-day event. So I use this cadet advisory council to get me the ground truth of what's going on, what issues are going on, what successes are we having as a program. So that leads me to my alumni board. This is something that I've been thinking about, I've been putting together, and I'm asking your help in staffing it. So what I want to do is have a board consisting of alumni, that we have a president, vice president, secretary and treasury, and then university relations that meets once, I would say 3 times a year, I think is what I'm looking at. We vote on it in August. We meet in December, and I can't remember the other one. We meet once a semester to kind of set the conditions for the upcoming semester, so we can talk about what we want to do. I'm an advisor for that. I help you realize what calendar conflicts there are. If you want to come talk to cadets, if you want to come down for a promotion ceremony, if you want to come down for the contracting ceremony, award ceremony, the dining in, we'll talk about the alumni banquet. It's all about getting everybody connected to the cadets so they can feel like part of the program again. And that's the most important thing to me, is making you feel wanted, that you want to, because I want you involved. I think it's very important. Endowment growth and scholarships, I kind of already harped on that a little bit. And then improving the promotion and mentorship programs here at Pitt State. So I started a promotion point system with cadets. They get promoted based on merits and things that they accomplish, and then assigning mentors to them, to those cadets, that they can keep track of. So seniors or juniors are mentoring a one or a freshman, and then they take that cadet for 2 years until they graduate. And then also continue the university and community support. So I'm going all in next semester. I think our color guard was used like one time this whole year. So we're getting back into it. We're going to support events, or whatever we can do within time management of the cadets. So we can try to get back out in the community and support, because they support us like you wouldn't believe. So I feel it's important that we keep that up. Challenges. One big challenge that circles back to money for me is room and board scholarships. We're still trying to figure out if we can get some housing on campus that could be free for national scholarship winners, but we still haven't cracked that nut yet. We're still working on it. But bottom line is, I lose, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably lose about 3 to 4 national scholarship winners because of this. So it's all about dollar signs to parents. If I get a college, I use University of Central Missouri as a prime example. Pretty light program, pretty light school size. Maybe I think they're a little bigger. But that PMS, he has like $80,000 that universities threw out and say, hey, use for room and board scholarships. Here you go. Can't do that in the Kansas part. I guess there's some rules with the Kansas Board of Regents or something. I'm not very intelligent on that specific circumstance. But the point is, cadets say, okay, I'm going to go to Pitt, I'm going to UCM, and the parent's like, well, UCM's going to give me this, you're not going to give me that, so I'm going to go to UCM. Regardless of, we know that Pittsburgh is better. We know that Pitt State's better than UCM. But of course, you get those cadets that they don't, what we typically get around here is cadets who want to come to Pitt or come to Pitt regardless of what happens. I'm talking about folks that are out of state, that don't know what Pittsburgh is. And once, typically speaking, and I'm speaking the truth here, once Josh gets a cadet down here to Pittsburgh and they see the campus, they see the environment, small town community, small class sizes, interaction with teachers, with cadre here in the RTC program, they want to come here. They want to come here. And they typically speaking, they usually come. But we have those 3 to 4 people that they go where the dollars take them. And that's kind of where I need some help with. Also, underground enrollment for the university, unfortunately, has been trending down for the past 6 years or so. COVID didn't help, of course, but that makes the pool of recruits here on campus even smaller, which makes the national scholarship process even more important. And of course, not sure if we're going to get budget cuts or anything like that, but that is a challenge that could be coming from the state. Opportunities. Right now, I got another good idea fairy in the back of my head. I'm working on looking at building an obstacle course. So right now, CDL built us or helped build us a rappel tower back here, a local business. So I'm going to start figuring out if there's any land that we could get or where we could possibly put it to start looking at raising funds for an obstacle course. And that's to help cadets train for cadet summer training. And so that's the Jacob's Ladder, the Wiebe, and some of those things incorporated into it. So I'm looking at trying to do that to set whoever replaces me set up for success with that project. We've been working with the athletic department quite a bit. A lot of joint sessions we did one with the football team. We did one with the baseball team, basketball teams, excuse me. And then health and nutrition with the HHP department with body fat and cardiovascular health. So a lot of exciting things that we're taking opportunities with. So I've talked for a little bit here, so I'll just kind of pause there, and I'll kind of open up to the group for any questions and answers on the program or anything that's on your mind.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah,
Chuck.
I have another question. Back in the day, we had drill days, once a week. We were so large, we had to have them twice a week. Is there anything like that anymore? That you have anything that happens in particular days of the week, or is that all by the wayside now?
No, we do throughout the semester. We do labs outside for about 2 hours once a week. We do physical training 3 days a week in the morning. And then our class time is usually 1 day a week on Tuesday. So Tuesday's class time, Thursday's labs, where we go out there and practice small unit tactics or whatever kind of we're teaching in the classroom to get some hands-on experience. And then we do what we call a survival lab, where we go out to Camp Crowder, Missouri, and we teach basic survival skills, kind of orient the freshmen back into field craft, how to start a fire, how to build a hooch, how to protect yourself, how to pack your ruck, and some round robin things of that nature, and then do some land navigation as well. So we do that for a weekend in the fall, and we also do a fall FTX, which is a field training exercise. We go back out to either Camp Crowder or it might be Salina. I haven't decided what we're doing yet, where we do weapons qualification. We do obstacle course. We do machine gun familiarization, so we get some machine gun ammo, M240, M249 machine guns, so they can practice shooting. We try to get some Blackhawks to do orientation flights, things of that nature. So there's some retention events associated with that with the freshmen and sophomores, while the juniors are concentrating on summer training type skills. And then we kind of move into land navigation, and we move into small unit tactics at a squad level that the ones and twos join in with throughout the weekend. In the spring, we do a super lab like we just did last weekend, and we do a spring FTX 4 days with combined schools that we focus solely on small unit tactics for the threes.
Well, the program certainly has changed significantly since 60 years ago when I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
I think somebody
Hey,
else
Chuck,
had a question.
Yeah, Chuck, hey, it's Dean. A reference in the endowment slide that you talked about. I know when we were cadets, we used to code call, for former ROTC individuals. We sat down there in the basement of the Alumni Center and a telethon fundraising. And then I even remember a few years after I commissioned, I got the phone calls. But I will tell you, over the last probably 10 years, I may have got one mailer once my address, that got caught up with the alumni. But as far as my phone number hasn't changed, but I haven't got anything. So I guess, kind of circling back is, what are we doing as far as the reach out, once or twice a year in that process, to kind of generate the funds, not only from just the general population, possibly if they want to give ROTC, but really targeting, the specific commissioned alumni or former members of the program.
Yeah, that's something that I'll be honest with you all. I struggled the first couple of years I was here. We typically do a newsletter once a year that goes out through the through the Alumni Center, and they send out the mailing. That's where that alumni banquet came into play, to try to get folks back on campus. I didn't think about doing the telethon, but I'll call you right after this though, if you want.
Oh yeah. I mean, and it's funny you say it, but obviously as we've been promoted, and in some of my peers that are on here, and of course, me and Josh's class, pretty tight knit group that are all still in, is, we can afford to give back. And that's some of what you and the program need to execute these events. And I have no problem with that. It's just, somebody reaching out to me, and doing it. And, with the way social media is nowadays, I mean, mailers, especially as people become career wise, you as anybody knows, every 2 to 3 years your address changes, and the alumni may not have current address, but phone numbers, or reach out on Facebook for current information, stuff like that. Then yeah, just kind of hitting the target audience.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I did fail to mention was, I think that last fall I noticed there wasn't like a Guerrilla Battalion alumni page. So I got that stood up, and I know not everybody's on social media, but it's something that I started, and I think you're on it as well, and I think it's kind of spread a little bit. So if there's somebody interested in being a part of it, if you search Guerrilla Battalion alumni, you can request to come onto the page, and we're going to start putting out all these events on there as we go into the future to try to help in that regard. Is it like what you're talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, if you guys need any help, and people that may still be on active duty, shoot me a list, shoot one of us a list, and let us look people up on Global for you and see where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dean, I'd really welcome the opportunity to work with you on that. And I know that we had some cards printed for our alumni banquet. And as Chuck said, we had a light attendance, but we could be doing a mailing. And as you said, sometimes our addresses aren't just up to date. So if I may, I'll give you a call, and we can put our heads together to see how to get that information sent out.
Yeah, I'd love to help.
Thank you.
Dean, what can we put you down for?
Whatever you're going to match, Josh.
Well, so I guess what I'd say is, Dean, the telethon didn't actually happen last year because of COVID, and Mary Jo can speak to a little bit more of that. And, some concerns from my perspective from being here for a little while and then actually understanding that whole process is the telethon stuff there's a lot of muscle movements within that. It's time intensive. And to be honest, there was just little to no return on it. Is what was happening previously. Now, could we come back and kind of re-engage at it? Yeah, we could do that and look at that. The university has a specific number of young people that they hire and train to do that outreach via telephone. And we could look at just, Mary Jo, potentially adding that in as a specific call sector or section within that. But there there would be some value in cadets calling as well. But the bigger concern is it has to be intricately coordinated with the university, because what we don't want is you all to get multiple things from the university and then overlap with something from us, because then you can understand the appearance, and we're continuously reaching out for y'all for money. So that's why it has to be really coordinated with the university to make sure that, we're not consistently asking you all for money from different perspectives. But yes, what I would say is, if you get, and most of you probably see the direct mails that come from the university with either for your college of whatever you graduated from or within your major, within that, there is a response that you can send back, and you can direct it specifically to go to ROTC at that point. You literally just have to write, it'll say, Mary Jo, help me with the word. What's the word?
Oh, they can pencil in Guerrilla Battalion, and
yeah, but basically you can say, this is where I want my money to go, and just Pitt State ROTC, and it will go there. And what we really like to see is the funds that basically are directed to wherever we need it the most, which gives the PMS the opportunity to use those funds where we truly need it, whether it's housing scholarships or tuition scholarships, or if it's purchasing ropes to rappel on because our ropes, are bad at that point. Unrestricted, that's the word I was looking for. So an unrestricted gift to allow us to be able to do that. So yes, that would be amazing if you all could do that. What we just don't want to do is overwhelm you with solicitations from the university. Because I'm one of those alums that I understand it and get them in the mail. So that's kind of the background on that. and we don't want to do it too much. We do want you all to know that we appreciate those gifts very much, but finding that right way to get it or whatever it is sometimes hard to do with and not overstep kind of where you all are comfortable us coming into your lives at. So that's kind of my 2 cents.
And I also say it's not only, it's not just money. It's, if you want to sponsor a cadet, want to say, hey, I'll sponsor this one person to go to wherever. Or if you want to mentor a cadet that maybe a cadet's going into a branch that you retired from. Those are all things that I'm looking to do. It's not all about, hey, I need dollars and cents. It's, I need folks, because them hearing me say it all the time, it gets boring, right? Somebody else comes along, if the dean comes down or Mr. White comes down and says, hey, this is what it's like. You need to do it this way, or these are the lessons that I learned when I was a young man or young woman. That helps immensely. Coming from the old grumpy PMS that's always walking the halls. Okay. So those are all great points. And I appreciate Dean, you bringing that up. Are there any other questions out there?
This is Dave White again. The question is you mentioned a Facebook page for the battalion.
Yes, sir.
How's it styled?
It's a Guerrilla Battalion, Guerrilla Battalion Alumni.
Okay, thanks. That's what I needed to know.
Make sure I'm right. Mr. Brown, you had something?
Yeah, this is Al Brown. I've worked with the university, with the plastics department in particular, significantly. Was presented an award for the amount of assistance I've given them. What I'm suggesting is there are already organizations on Pitt State's campus that are successfully raising large amounts of money. And it might be possible for the ROTC department to mimic that model. One of them is the plastics department. And what they do is they have a golf outing. And so the alumni from the plastics department come out, they pay to go to the golf outing, and they raise a large amount of money. The other thing with that is the construction department outraises the plastics department significantly. And I think your lieutenant, that's your assistant instructor there, is from the construction department. He might be able to speak to that. So with those models in mind, you might be able to tie that into, there's people that come back for the football games and for like homecoming, and have a golf outing the evening before where they pay to play and you raise money that way. Or you could do something that's more military oriented, and it would be, I don't know, something like it wouldn't be an M16 or anything, but it would be a small weapon, maybe a BB gun. And you have a competition amongst all the people that used to compete against each other, and you give out an award, but it's basically a pay to play as well. But something that would be, for some of us old fat guys, not able to engage like we used to, but are still competitive. And my last thing on that, wasn't there some sort of a video game that the Army had out there at one time?
Well, we have a engagement skills trainer that's sort of like in a video game, the EST 2000 that we have out there through the National Guard.
Yeah, I had seen something where they were trying to pull people into the program by seeing that. And that might be a way to raise money. Video games are huge areas of income. There's people that have YouTube videos and stuff like that that are making lots of money. There might be an opportunity if you have some people in the program that are really good at that, where people pay to play against them. And there's prizes or something like that for the winner, but that might be a way to raise money as well.
Yeah, I didn't think about the video game one.
Yeah, that could be from anywhere on the planet. Somebody could play. So if somebody's stationed somewhere and they were mean to their superior officer and wound up stuck in Greenland, they could play from there.
Good idea.
Those are great, great suggestions.
You also have, I saw your question on there about coming to talk about the plastics. You're more than welcome. Just let me know if there's a time that you want to come up and kind of throw that degree program out there. Feel free.
Yeah, we actually, we met before, and you were a major at the time. And I came in there and did speak. And that was good. And I think if there's any of those topics, just get back with me and let me know what might be of interest to people from technology or things like that, or you tell me what's in development, and I can tell you from people that we have in our plastics program that made the skin on the F-35 fighter.
Awesome.
Okay. So there's stuff like that. I know people at GM, if you need help with trying to tell people if you want to get a job getting out of the military, the company I worked for initially out of the military was looking for junior military officers.
Cool. I'm going to write down your phone number and name, and no, just.
Yeah, you spell it Dave White.
So anybody else have any questions or comments, ideas?
Well, what we'll do as well is we'll send a follow-up email out tomorrow to the folks who have been on this call, as well as those who had signed up and weren't able to make it. And so any links that you'd like to include, we would be happy to send those out. I already made a note to include a link about the Facebook page that you're trying to get some more traffic on. So Josh, Lieutenant Colonel, anybody who thinks of anything, let me know, and we can include that in the email that goes out. We want to help you out as much as we possibly can.
Awesome. Yeah,
Carl, it's good to see you on the call. I didn't catch you at the beginning, but great to see your face, sir.
Hey, I just want to make sure I throw out a special thanks and for everybody on here that has contributed, that has helped the program monetarily or come and talk to cadets. You know, it's really an honor to have you all here whenever you come back to campus. And I'd also like to thank also Mary Jo and Mary Carol for helping us through, and again, navigating all through this stuff. And also, you know, Mary Carol was very generous in helping me with some scholarship money to help us get 4 young ladies into the program last year. And they're quality young women. Well, without her help, it wouldn't have happened that way. But again, it's really a privilege to be on here. And if there's anything I can do for you, you just let me know, and I will do whatever I can to try to give you the help. Or if you want to come back, you just let me know what you want to do and when you want to do it, and I'll make sure I find the time to put that together. But again, I just want to say thanks for everything that you all do for this program. And it's an honor to lead it. It's an honor to build it and to continue the tradition. And I'll make sure whoever comes in behind me is inheriting a strong program that's going to endure forever. So I really appreciate your all's time.
Thank you, sir. Hey, before we go, I've got a few Pitt State things to give away. Is everybody up to get a little Pitt State gear? We're going to drop it in the mail to you. All right. So I chose some names while Lieutenant Colonel was speaking. And so have a few things to give away. It looks like John Bellantonia had to get off the call, but we're going to send him a Pitt State fleece blanket. Let's see, Willis Heidenberg, we've got a Pitt State umbrella coming your way in the mail. So congratulations. It'll be coming up to Nebraska for you, sir. Kevin Hicks, we've got a Pitt State cooler bag that we'll send your way. James Livingston, we've got a Pitt State cup that you'll find in the mail coming your way. Christopher Porter, we've got a once a gorilla, always a gorilla koozie with a pair of Pitt State sunglasses in it. That will be coming your way, sir. Let's see, Dean Ray, we've got a cup coming your way, sir. Michael Temko. Michael, you are in, you're in Japan, I believe. So we've got a koozie and sunglasses coming your way, sir. David White, we've got a Pitt State cutting board. I don't know if you like to cook, but we've got a Pitt State cutting board coming your way. And last but not least, piles on. We have a set of Pitt State coasters coming your way, sir.
Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I certainly want to echo what Lieutenant Colonel Costello said. Thank you all for your time and for your support of this program and Pittsburg State University in general. You know, we could not be the institution we are today without our alumni. And I don't know, I might argue with these guys in military science and say I have the best job on campus because I get to go out and see all these alumni. At least prior to COVID, I was able to go out and see them. We're happy to see you. We're happy to see you electronically, though. We hope to be out and about, shaking your hand and seeing you in person, though, very soon in the future. So any other questions before we wrap up?
John, I'm just thankful for the opportunity to connect tonight. It helps me to know how to reach out, and it's very exciting to see all the alums and their desire to help move the program forward. So it's been a great evening to brainstorm and to have a good update and make some connections. So I appreciate the opportunity too.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on, Mary Jo. We all work together really well. So, well, we'll send a follow-up email out. Once again, any links that you want me to send out, Lieutenant Colonel, let me know. And if you have any questions of me or my office, don't hesitate to reach out. We will serve you in any way that we possibly can. And before we wrap up, there's a thing that we like to say. It's once a gorilla, always a gorilla. So encourage you to say that to yourself or say it out loud. We appreciate your support and we wish you all the best. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you to all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. Thanks, John.